Hey guys, in our last video we are able to create the adding of user feature in our system and create the simple response notification once the user is successfully added to the system or the user is or there is an error. So in this video we are going to pull all the users that we inserted in the system. So right now we are going to get all the data we inserted in our database, and we are going to put it in this page. So now we are going to change the layout of the page, and I'm thinking we're just going to put this form here and then the list of users on the right side. So let's get started. So this is our page, and then so this is the page, the users add a PHP page, and here is the form. So we have the container here, and then top navigation, the content. So inside this one we'll create a new div. So let's just increase the font size. So we're going to add a class of row, and then it's going to be two column, and then here so here we're going to insert our form. It's this one. Let's refresh. So let's try to check the console, see or check the HTML structure. There is a row, we added this column and then another column. So in order for this to have the column affect our style, let's open our CSS. So let's try to use this one, and then this for the user add page. I think I already created that one here. So now let's style the row. So going to add a display of flex, then flex direction set the row, then flex wrap, then width of 100%, then the columns here. Let's add the same display property of flex, and then the direction would be a column. And then let's try to refresh and add example. Okay, so we are missing a flex and then flex basis. That's not working. Row, column, just remove the publish for column and I did a refresh, so now it's in the same row. So column 1 and then this column here. So I think just need 100%, but need to add this one, maybe a column 5 and here column 7. Shadow with so we'll design a 12 columns, 5 columns, 12 times 5 should be 41, the width should be 41.67%. And then the 7 will have 58.33. So they are now seated in one row. And then here, let's just remove some styles. I think the padding is good. I think we need to change the font with. Okay, so here let's try to check, and the padding, or maybe, so let's keep the margin, we'll just remove the, so we keep the padding thing, the width, let's do a 90% instead of 50. So let's try 90 and refresh, and then let's try to, so this section here will be the list of users, and then here will be the insert. Let's try to add a header for that section. Great, insert user, and I think should be so I think we'll need to remove this one and leave tab. Also just put the closing div here, and then let's try to check. Okay, let's refresh. Okay, so now we have insert user, and just too big. I'm trying to change the size. 20 px, then green, or maybe just gray. Maybe gray will do. Then the border, or let's make it 1, and let's add a spacing to the bottom. Just copy this one, and we'll add a class on section header, here we're going to insert this style and brush. Then let's add an icon plus. So we have the plus icon. Let's try to move this one fresh, and then maybe let's add some padding, 10 px, and the color change the border. We can use I think we can use this color, and the border will be light pink. And then let's add the background of green, or let's try to check which one is best. I think the plain white is great. Let's just add the border to the left, and maybe use this one or same color. Just make it bigger. Then let's just copy this one, paste, fresh. Let's try to change insert. Then let's put the padding between the columns. So they'll have the space in between, and then here. So we'll just copy this one here. And then instead we'll use list of users. Then instead of plus, we'll do a list. And then here we're going to add a table. So div section content, and then div users, and then set a table. So here we can just use tr, and then th, use this for the header. Let's just check what data, first name, last name, email, then created as first name. Let's just copy and then paste. Last name, email, then created Let's try to refresh. body, so it's just t body, then tr, so that's the row, and then td, so let's do t head, here let's try to add chain, so the first name, last name is just do do chain do at yahoo.com, then March 27 20 March 28 2020 at 12:30 p.m. 10:30 p.m. So this one is just a dummy account, so we can easily style our table. So our table is now looking good, however we need to put some style. So now can add a style, the users, and then table head, and then the cell. Can do a border of 1px only in black. Okay, so let's try. This is the style we created, and I think we can just use gray, then border collapse. Set this one to collapse so we don't have the duplicate line, and then we can add the padding. Let's just grab that one, paste, then let's add the font size. Maybe we put it 10px or 715. Let's just add 14 for let's just do table. For the values we'll have 15, and then for the header we'll have a font size of 18, so I think we'll do 15 and 13px. Now let's add in width. I think we just do 100%. So table width is 100%. So let's just remove this tab users, so this will apply to all the tables we will create in the system. And then here I think you can just add the padding, so or a margin, not a margin but the padding, or maybe let's just use the section header and add the margin in the bottom, set it to 15px. Okay, it's looking good, and then I think we can adjust 13px and text transform, refresh. So I think we can adjust the text transform, set to 15, I mean uppercase, and then refresh. The font size we can make it 12, then text align center. I think it's already center, but yeah, we add a new column, and we just add a hashtag or a number symbol, and then that will be like the counter. And I think it's looking good now. So next thing to do is add a script that will pull all the users once we visit the page. So we should expect 15 users in our system and should be displayed here. So in our users data.php script, so this is the file. We need to add a code that will fetch all the data, and we're going to display it in this table. Okay, so here we can just add a new variable users and then include a file, and that file will be from database, then show users are include and show users that PHP. So let's just create a new file. So same thing, let's just include the connection file. Then once we included the connection file, we can now set a statement, and then so this code file is coming from our connection variable, which we can access since we included that connection.php inside the file or the show users file. And then prepare, so select all from users, and then decide to result, then set fetch mode, decide to do pardon the result, and then die. Let's do refresh. Set the boolean. We need to add here, need to execute the command. Users, so result, then fetch all function, and we are having an issue, so we need to prepare execute, and then the result. Okay, I think code statement. As you can see here, it returns an array, since that's what we set here. I think if we remove this one, it will be showing as index and then the column name. So let's just use that one. And then you can just remove that. And then here we can just return fetch all fresh, and then in our user side we can check or bar down the user, so we can display that one. However, we need to order the table by the recent, or make sure that the first one to show is the recently created user. So this one here should not be the first, should be the last, and this should be the recent. So the test will be the first one, and the way to do that one is just need to change our query, add in order by date created or created at, and set the sorting to descending. Let's refresh, and as you can see, test is the user are the first one, which is true since we just added this one. So it returns that one, and then here let's just remove, and we're going to plug in the value here. So this is where we show all the users. So one record is one row or one tr, so you can just use start the PHP like this one loop. So for each users, so we have users here, and then user. So let's just try to make the one-liner. So we have the closing tag, and then let's close the loop part, and this is where we put all our code or the HTML or the row. So if we're going to refresh that one, it will show us the list of users. However, it has the same value, so we need to check this one. So the indexed here, so if you're going to bar dump again the users and then refresh, so this is the index. So once we do the looping, so this is the users, and the user will refer to this one record, and for each has this format where we can get the index. So 0, 1, 2, that's the index, and since we need that one here, we can just use the index 0, but we should start at 1, so we just need to add 1 there. Let's try to refresh. So as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 15, so we have now 15 users, which we have the same numbers in our database. So let's just update the data, and let's do the shorthand PHP echo. So the user and then here it will be first name, then last name, email, then data dot, and let's try to refresh. So as you can see, we have now all the data. However, let's try to make the tables, the data easily readable by human or by the users. And let's try to remove this two here, since they didn't have the right date format. This one, okay, lovely, and then delete that one. Fresh. So we have now 13 users, and then let's format the date. So in this part we can just use the date function. So we can go to FDY, so that's the for the year, the day, and then the 4-digit year value. Then we need to first transform that one into a time stamp, and that's it. And let's do a refresh. So here we have the the readable date value, and then let's add the time here. So HISA, let's make it a 12 form, instead of 24 hour, let's make it a 12. And I think it's looking good now. However, this month is looking it's bigger. I think we can just use M or big letter M. Yep, so it will be 3-digit month value, and then we can just center all these element here. Okay, so they are now centered. Yeah. So now we are finished with the pulling of all the users. So once we visit the users data, it will give us the list of users here. Now let's try to add a new users and see if it will update the list of users here. So let's try to add a new user first. Let's do James Band, then James Band. Let's try to add, and as you can see here, James Band is added in the list of users. And also we have that success notification added in the system. So I think here we can just add a simple stats, like how many users added, maybe on the top of the table. So you can do here, we should have the count of the users, or users, or maybe, yeah, I think let's try to add 13. Style. 15. Then let's add the color, text and font, the uppercase, and then color, and change the one to here, and user account. Paste the text, and I think it's better if we put that one below the table. So 13 users, and then let's add the padding between these cell. $5px. Then here, so we should see 14, and here we did hard coded the number. So we have the users. We can just use the count function, which will give us the count of that array. So here we have 14 users. Let's try to add another user, and add. So you see we have now 15 users, and Nicole Kidman is in the list. So I think that's it for this video. Thank you so much, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.